today with me, Nabila Jamal. I'm going to take you through the top headlines. No end to oxygen crisis in Delhi. Hospitals appeal the government to fix oxygen flow. High Court questions the centre as thousands of oxygen concentrators await customs clearance. 2 Oxygen Express special trains carrying 10 tankers with 205 metric ton of the precious gas reached Delhi. Politics erupts after 24 died due to oxygen shortage in Karnataka. Congress demands Chief Minister Yediyurappa's resignation, calls the state-sponsored murder. BJP President JP Nadda to visit Bengal and meet with kin of workers who were allegedly killed in poll violence after results. BJP claims 6 workers were killed after the results. Speculation over next Chief Minister of Assam is Sarbananda Sonowal and Hemanta Biswa Sarma hold separate MLAs meet. BJP insists that only party's parliamentary board will finalize the matter. The US drug regulator set to authorize Pfizer COVID vaccine for adolescents. Clinical trials claim to produce robust antibody responses in 12 to 15-year-olds. As several hospitals in the national capital struggle to get oxygen supply, an image of oxygen concentrators lying with the customs department awaiting clearance caused quite some flutter across the country. Amid speculations of 3,000 concentrators stuck due to no clearance by the customs department, the High Court pulled up the centre, asking it to appraise the court about the number of oxygen concentrators awaiting the customs clearance. In fact, the Finance Ministry, however, clarified there, saying no such consignment of oxygen concentrators is awaiting clearance at the customs. Meanwhile, 2 Oxygen Express trains have brought the biggest single-day load to Delhi. One of the trains, carrying 85 metric ton of oxygen, arrived from Hapa in Gujarat. Another train carrying 120 metric tons of oxygen has arrived in Okhla. Delhi's projected daily oxygen requirement is 976 metric tons. The centre, which had allocated 480 metric tons to the national capital, has now revised it to 590 metric tons. Anisha Mathur joining us live for more details on that. Anisha, we hear that some amount of oxygen has reached Delhi and is now headed towards those hospitals in need. If you can take us through, what's the situation on ground?
Well, Nabila, at the moment, oxygen supplies are reaching Delhi according to the centre. The Delhi government has also said that they are getting some supplies, but they are still saying that the amount of projected supplies that are needed for Delhi with the ever-increasing numbers, that is not enough, that the total projected supplies are still not reaching the city. But as you just said, the Oxygen Express trains have reached Delhi with about 200 metric tons in total of oxygen that was brought in early this morning. Cylinders have also reached the city, but with the ever-increasing demand, the issue is that the allocated amount is only about 590 tons, while the projected requirements is much beyond that. So the centre and the government, the Delhi government, are currently still coordinating with regard to that. The Empower Group had yesterday announced that they are once again revising the allocations needed for each state. They're trying to create a plan for allocation of adequate oxygen, because it's not just Delhi but several other states that are facing this similar problem. Just last night at around 2 a.m., the Spinal Injuries Institute in Delhi had set out an SOS message saying that they're running out of oxygen. They have barely about an hour's worth of oxygen left, and emergency cylinders had been sent there by the Delhi government late last night. But that is something that we're seeing in a lot of hospitals. Max, however, has received today an oxygen generator that was sent from France. But that will also not take care of their entire daily requirement, because the requirements are simply beyond what we have been prepared for. The government has said that they're trying to augment the supplies, but that is going to take some days, even as Delhi is gasping for oxygen. And across NCR, you can see serpentine lines outside every oxygen reselling station. And the problem that people cannot get the cylinders refilled, and even hospitals and ambulances are without oxygen, is still persisting. Back to you.
Absolutely tragic, Anisha, for joining us. Thank you for joining us with those details there. We're looking at oxygen supply now, reaching some of the hospitals, but still not matching up to that supply that's expected. Now, as Delhi grapples with severe shortage of oxygen, several from the national capital are flocking to Gurugram to get their oxygen cylinders refilled from there. But they are being told that oxygen is being given only to local residents there. Ankit Tyagi brings us this report from the ground.
These massive serpentine queues with people standing with empty oxygen cylinders, waiting for them to be refilled so that they can rush back home and save the life of somebody, their loved one who is struggling because of COVID-19, have now become a common sight. I mean, you'll see these kind of, lines and these kind of massive gathering outside every refilling plant, not only in Delhi, but in the entire NCR region. I'm right now in Manesar industrial area in Gurugram. And this is one filling station where people have been waiting. Most of them have been waiting for since morning, from 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Somebody came at 10 o'clock, but have not yet got the oxygen. Other problem that people here are facing is that, and this is the first time that I have seen this, at least in the NCR region, at this filling station in the Manesar industrial area, you will only get oxygen if you are a resident of Gurugram, you have residence proof, and your patient is admitted in a hospital or is in home isolation in Gurugram only. If you're from Delhi, Faridabad or any other place, you will not get a refill. That, ladies and gentlemen, is creating a lot of problems. आप कब से खड़े हुए हैं भाई साहब यहाँ?
सर मैं 9-8 बजे से खड़ा हूँ यहाँ सुबह से।
हाँ।
लेकिन वही है कि कुछ गए अंदर और उसके बाद जो हम लोग वही लाइन में खड़े हैं अभी तक। उसके बाद अभी पता चल रहा है कि गैस भी नहीं है। और दूसरी बात क्या है कि जो 2-4 बंदे जो वापसी आए हैं उनको बोला जा रहा है कि जो दिल्ली की आधार कार्ड है और आईडी प्रूफ जो भी है दिल्ली वाले को मिलेगा नहीं, सिर्फ गुड़गांव
क्या पेपर लेके खड़े हुए हो?
मैं अपने वो कोरोना पॉजिटिव का रिपोर्ट लेके खड़ा हूँ। आधार कार्ड दिल्ली का है हमारा, ये आधार कार्ड लेके खड़ा हूँ। डॉक्टर में का जो प्रिस्क्रिप्शन
दिल्ली से आप सीधे यहाँ पर आए या वहाँ कोशिश करी आपने?
नहीं सर, मैं मोहन कोऑपरेटिव जो है, मैं 1 तारीख को 10 बजे रात में जाके लाइन लगा हुआ था। मैं 1 तारीख को 10 बजे रात में लगा लाइन, उसके बाद जो है पूरी रात लाइन में रहा। सुबह को एसडीएम आया 5 बजे सुबह, उसने बोला कि ये 9 बजे लाइन खुलेगी, 9 बजे अंदर किया जाएगा सुबह दिन में 2 तारीख को।
दिल्ली में आपने कई जगह पे करा, वहाँ पे मिल नहीं पाई आपको?
नहीं मिला सर, पूरा रात भी खड़ा रहा, दिन भी खड़ा रहा और शाम को एसडीएम आया, बोल दिया कि गैस
वहाँ से नहीं मिला, तो इस वजह से आप यहाँ पर आए। अब यहाँ बता रहे हैं कि दिल्ली वालों को नहीं मिलेगा।
हाँ, दिल्ली वाले को
आप कहाँ से भैया?
मैं सर यहाँ गुड़गांव से हूँ। कल मैं 3 बजे से लाइन में लगा हूँ और जब मेरा यहाँ तक नंबर आया तो बोल रहे हैं 9 बजे रात की गैस नहीं है। फिर मैं सुबह आके 6 बजे लाइन में लगा, अंदर पहुँचा, वहाँ गेट तक बोल रहे हैं गैस खत्म हो गई।
आपके कौन है
हमारे भाई है और भाभी दोनों एडमिट हैं हॉस्पिटल में।
हॉस्पिटल में भी ऑक्सीजन नहीं है?
हॉस्पिटल वाले बोल रहे हैं अपनी ऑक्सीजन लेकर के आओ,
अपनी खुद ऑक्सीजन
खुद ऑक्सीजन लेकर
आपके
तो पेशेंट को लेके जाओ।
आपके जो भाई हैं वो गुड़गांव में हॉस्पिटल में है?
जी गुड़गांव हॉस्पिटल में है।
तो इस वजह से आपको मतलब यहाँ पे जाने देते हैं, लेकिन ऑक्सीजन बोलते हैं खत्म हो गया।
ऑक्सीजन खत्म हो गई।
मैं सुबह 7 बजे से खड़े हुए हैं, कहीं भी दिल्ली में कहीं भी नहीं मिले, सारे जगह घूम घाम करके कोई बोला मानेसर में मिलता है, यहाँ आए सुबह 7 बजे से और बैठे हुए हैं। 4 बजे बोल रहे गैस खत्म हो गया, फिर कह रहे दिल्ली वाले का जो पेपर है उससे कोई काम नहीं होगा।
Are you also standing for oxygen here? आप भी खड़े हुए?
कल 3 बजे से हूँ।
Yesterday 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
या आई एम स्टैंडिंग फ्रॉम यस्टरडे। अभी वहाँ पे मेरा 7वां नंबर है, गैस खत्म हो गई।
अच्छा, आपका सिलेंडर अंदर है?
अंदर है सिलेंडर,
बट गैस खत्म हो गया?
गैस खत्म हो गई।
Are you a local resident?
लोकल रेजिडेंट
From Gurgaon?
गुड़गांव।
What do you, I mean, who's there in your house who's COVID
My
positive?
sister is with saturation level is at 63. She is now battling with life.
और आप यहाँ पे वेट कर रहे हैं मजबूर
कर रहा
हैं?
हूँ।
हॉस्पिटल का बेड नहीं मिल पा रहा कहीं?
नहीं, कहीं बेड नहीं मिल पा रहा। They are saying you have to come up with your oxygen. Pathetic situation. It's the worst I have never seen in my life or never seen in India. Deplorable situation.
You know, there is, I don't know what is it that you can say to people like this. कब आप भी ऑक्सीजन के लिए खड़े हो? कब से?
कल रात से
नहीं मिला अभी तक?
नहीं मिला। अगर आज ऑक्सीजन नहीं मिला तो फांसी लगा के मरूंगा यहीं पे। बहुत ज़्यादा